Hi, hello, my dear NEET aspirants. How are you? Welcome to Mass Physics-Mnr. నేను మీ అశ్విని కుమార్ తాటిపామల, faculty of botany. So in the last video, I completed my pollination agents in abiotic pollinating agents are completed. Now in this session, we are going to discuss about biotic pollinating agents. After completion of that, what about pollen pistil interaction? Then in vitro pollen grain germination, then artificial pollination and hybridization method. Yeah, we'll see now. The session will start ma. It's a very important, beautiful video. Let us start. That is what ma. Biotic pollinating agents. So what are the biotic pollinating agents? Biotic pollinating agents. What are the biotic pollinating agents? Okay, you know that pollinating agents are two types. One is abiotic, second one is biotic. So small proportion of the plants use abiotic agents ma. Then majority of the plants use biotic agent. That is only one is what? Animals. Okay na? So majority of the plants, this is the line is there in NCERT, important. Majority of the plants use what? Animals. Use animals. Majority of the plants use animals for pollination. So that's why such type of pollination is called what? Zoophily. What is that mechanism name? Zoophily. Zoo means here you know that zoology, that means what? Animals. Phily means pollination type. Okay na? Majority of the plants use animals for what about pollination? Such type of pollination is called as what? Zoophily. Very important. Okay, now, so what are the zoophily types are there? See here, the majority of the plants use animals in that. Okay, that particularly what are the majority of the animals? Common biotic pollinating agents are what? What are the common biotic pollinating agents? Common biotic pollinating agents ma. Common biotic pollinating agents are what? Pollinating agents. ఇది మనకు ఒక లిస్ట్ ఉంది నాన్న in NCERT. These are very important. Common biotic pollinating agents are what? See all of you. Ants. Next one, bees. Then butterflies. Then beetles. Then birds. Means what ma? Sunbirds. And also what? Hummingbirds. వెనుకకి ఎగిరే పక్షి అని అంటాం నాన్న దీన్ని. సన్బర్డ్స్ అండ్ హమ్మింగ్ బర్డ్స్. నెక్స్ట్ బ్యాట్స్, గబ్బిలాలు అంటాం, బ్యాట్స్. యాంట్స్, బీస్, బటర్ఫ్లైస్, బీటిల్స్, బర్డ్స్, బ్యాట్స్. నెక్స్ట్ మాత్స్. Night flowering plants can pollinate with the help of what ma? Moths. Okay. Then next one, wasps. So nana wasps, that is what orchid opris plant ma. Opris plant. By the mechanism is what? Pseudo-copulation method. Pseudo-copulation method. Important. Moths can pollinate the flowers or what? Night flowering plants. Okay na? Night flowering plants that produce what ma? The very, very important fragrance. That produce what means fragrance, that gives what? Fragrance ma. But flowers are white. Flowers color is, what is the color? White color. Important. White color flowers. But fragrance matram ela untundi? It's a very, very, so means suvasan antam, fragrance. Okay, that night flowering plants. మీరు జాస్మిన్ చూస్తే మనకి నైట్ లో బాగా స్మెల్ ఎక్కువగా వస్తుంది అంట. ఎస్ రా, దిస్ ఈజ్ అబౌట్ వాట్? జస్ట్ మాత్స్ వాస్ప్స్ ఇన్ఫర్మేషన్. ఓకేనా? దీస్ ఆర్ వాట్? కామన్ pollinating agents. In that, all these are what? Ants, bees, butterflies, beetles. All these are what? Insect group ma. They are what? Insects, right? So that insects are main, means common biotic pollinating agent. In that biotic pollinating agent, in that most important is what? Insect. That particularly in the insect, which one is the major ma? Particularly that is what bees. Very, 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 very important. The line is there. Bees ma. So bees are the most important pollinating agent, biotic pollinating agent. So what about favored color for the bees? The favored color is what? Favored color, that is known as what ma? Yellow. Bees ki a color ante favorable, that is yellow color is the favorable ma. Favorable color. Favored color is what yellow. For what? Bees. Important. Yeah, these are what? Common biotic pollinating agents. And also some larger animals also can pollinate the flowers. What are the larger animals now? Larger animals also can pollinate. Larger animals. So what are the larger animals ma now? Some primates. They are what ma? Lemurs ananta. Lemurs. Okay na? Yes, these are the one of the primata member. This only, what about ma? Pollinate the plant is what? Ravinila plant. Plant name is Ravinila plant. Ravinila plant flowers can pollinated by what? Lemurs. Important. Next, what about ma? Lizards. Lizards also. So they are what? Lizards are gecko lizards and garden lizards. Gecko lizards and garden lizards. Okay na? Gecko lizards and garden lizards. They also involved in what? They can pollination takes place ma. What is the plant name? Best example, flax. Flax plant. Okay na? That is pollinated by what of the organism? Lizards. Important. Lizards. Next, what about ma? Arboreal rodents. వీటిని మనము ఇంకో పేరుతో పిలుస్తాం, ట్రీ డ్వెల్లింగ్ animals అని అంటాం. ట్రీ డ్వెల్లింగ్ animals. ఓకేనా? ట్రీ డ్వెల్లింగ్ animals. Okay, these are what are larger animals. These larger animals also involved in what? Pollination purpose. Okay na? So now these are the common biotic pollinating agents. In our syllabus, there is a in detailed information is there ma insect pollination. After that briefing only, that is what bird pollination, then what bat pollination. Okay, right? We'll see now also. See now first one, insect pollination is what? Insect pollination. Yeah, what about insect pollination now? That is what ma? Pollination occurs through insects. The method is called entomophily. Entomophily means what? What is the meaning of entomophily? Entomophily, entomology. మనకి యూనివర్సిటీలో ఉంది నాన్న ఎంటమాలజీ మన యూనివర్సిటీలో. దట్ ఈస్ వాట్ ఇన్సెక్ట్ స్టడీ ఆఫ్ ఇన్సెక్ట్స్, రైట్? ఎంటమాలజీ. సో మీన్స్ హియర్ pollination occurs through what? Insects. Pollination occurs through, that is what is the method? Insects. That is called as what ma? Entomophily. Entomophily. Okay now. But here see all of you, very very important. The animal pollinated plant flowers that show what about ma? Some adaptations to the particular species of animal. Very very important. Line is there in NCERT. Animal pollinated plant flowers. Animal pollinated flowers. Animal pollinated flowers. They show what? Some adaptations. Some adaptations to particular species of what? Animal. Particular species of animal. Particular species of animal. Animal. Okay, right? Animal. We'll see now what are the adaptations in that. The first one, entomophily plant flowers. They show what type of characters? Characters are, what are the characters they show? Entomophilous plant flowers, they show some characters. So the what are the characters now? One by one we'll see ma. The first character is what? The first character is what? Flowers are usually large size. Very very important. Flowers are usually large size. Large size. Flowers ఎలా ఉండాలంటున్నాడు? Large size లో ఉండాలి. That is the one of the adaptation character. Second one, when flowers are small. When flowers are small. When flowers are what? Small. What happens ma? Flowers అన్ని చిన్నవిగా ఉన్నాయనుకోండి, అప్పుడు ఏం చేస్తాయి? All the flowers are clustered. When flowers are small, they are clustered. Clustered means aggregation. Clustered to form what? Inflorescence. Clustered to form what? Inflorescence. Okay na? That make them what ma? Conspicuous. Make them conspicuous. Very very important. అంటే ఫ్లవర్స్ చిన్నవిగా ఉన్నప్పుడు ఫ్లవర్స్ అన్నీ కూడా ఏమవుతాయన? దే ఆర్ ద క్లస్టరింగ్, మీన్స్ గ్రూప్ టేక్స్. అప్పుడు క్లస్టర్ అయినప్పుడు ఏమవుతుంది? దట్ బికమ్స్ ఇంటూ వాట్? ఏ బిగ్ సైజ్ లైక్. దాన్ని మనం ఏమంటాము? ఇన్ఫ్లోరిసెన్స్. దట్ ఈస్ కాల్డ్ వాట్? ఇన్ఫ్లోరిసెన్స్. ఇన్ఫ్లోరిసెన్స్ ఈజీగా మనకు అపియర్ అవుతుంది. దట్స్ వై దట్ మేక్ దెమ్ వాట్? కాన్స్పీషియస్ ఇన్ నేచర్. వెరీ వెరీ ఇంపార్టెంట్. దిస్ ఈస్ ద సెకండ్ క్యారెక్టర్ మా. Now what about third character now? The third character is what? Yes ma, presence of nectar. Presence of what? Nectar. Nectar is present. Okay na? That is also one of the adaptation. Presence of what? Nectar. Very very important. Then next one, what about fragrance? That gives what about ma? Fragrance also. Fragrance. Flowers, they show what about ma? Fragrance. Rich in nectar and also what? Fragrance. Then when the flowers are small, that clustered to form what? Inflorescence, make them what? Conspicuous. Flowers are usually what about ma? Large size. Okay. Then next one is what? pollen grains are sticky in nature. Very, 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 very important. Pollen grains are sticky in nature. Sticky in nature. Yes. How to the stickiness is there ma? Pollen grains ki ela vastundi mara stickiness? Because of why? Due to the presence of pollen kit. Due to the presence of what ma? Pollen kit. Okay na? So this pollen kit is made up of lipids and carotenoids. Lipids and also what? Carotenoids are there. Okay. So when lipids and carotenoids are there, due to that presence of pollen kit, pollen grains have what ma? Sticky in nature. Okay na? But you know that in wind pollination, pollen grains are non-sticky in nature, right? But here pollen grains are what ma? Sticky in nature. Very, very important in condition. Okay na? Yes, flowers are usually large size. When the flowers are small, they are aggregate to form what? Clustered. That is to inflorescence. Make them what? Conspicuous in nature. Presence of what ma? Nectar is the one of the important character. And also what? That produce fragrance. Okay na? Fragrance also. Then pollen grains are sticky in nature because of due to the presence of pollen kit. These are the some adaptations ma particular species of animals. Okay, right? Then one more is what? Here see, flowers pollinated by flies and beetles. Very, very important. That is there in NCERT. Flowers are pollinated by flies and beetles. Flies and beetles. Flies and beetles. They secrete what? They secrete what ma? Foul odor. Foul odor means what? A bad smell ra. Bad smell. Okay na? ఈ బ్యాడ్ స్మెల్స్ కి ఫ్లైస్ అండ్ బీటిల్స్ అనేవి అట్రాక్ట్ అవుతాయి. ఓకేనా? అందుకే చూడండి, మీకు ఫ్లైస్ ఎక్కువగా ఎక్కడ మీన్స్ దట్ ఈస్ వాట్ కుళ్ళిపోతున్నటువంటి ఏరియా ఏదైతే ఉందో అక్కడ గ్రో అవుతుంది. దిస్ ఈస్ వాట్? ఫోల్ ఆర్డర్ దే గివ్స్ వాట్. సో ఫ్లవర్స్ పాలినేటెడ్ బై వాట్? ఫ్లైస్ అండ్ బీటిల్స్. వెరీ, వెరీ ఇంపార్టెంట్. ఫర్ ఎగ్జాంపుల్ దానికి ఒకటి చెప్తాను నేను. దట్ ఈస్ వాట్? కరియాన్ ఫ్లైస్. వెరీ, వెరీ ఇంపార్టెంట్. Carrion flies. Carrion flies. Important ma. This is carrion flies. Idini not there in NCERT but is there. Very, very important. Carrion flies. Yes ma. These are helps to what? Pollination in Rafflesia flower. So pollination. Carrion flies pollinated which type of flowers ma? That is Rafflesia flowers. Rafflesia. Very, very important. You know Rafflesia story. These are what? The largest flower producing plant. Largest flower producing plant. Okay na? So ladies అయితే ఆ plant flower తలలో పెట్టుకుంటే ఫ్లవర్ కనపడుద్ది కానీ తల కనపడదంట. That is what of big flower. Largest flower ma. That is what? Rafflesia. Okay na? See all of you, carrion flies, that such type of flies pollination, involve the pollination in which plant ma? Rafflesia plant. But Rafflesia flower produce which type of odor? Foul odor. That is what? Like a rotten meat. Rotten meat. ఇది ఒక కుళ్ళిపోయిన మాంసపు వాసన. సో దీనికి ఏ ఫ్లైస్ అట్రాక్ట్ అవుతున్నాయి? Carrion flies are attracted. So now they bring about what? Pollination takes place in such type of plant ma. This is what? Flowers pollinated by flies or beetles. They secrete what? Foul odor. Is very, very important. ఇంకో విషయం ఇక్కడే చెప్తాను, that is very important. That means what ra? Here Rafflesia that contain what? Largest flower. Okay na? So that now, so the seeds are dispersed by with the help of what? Elephant. Okay na? Rafflesia seeds dispersed with the help of what? With the help of what? Elephant. మరి ఎలిఫెంట్ అనేది ఏంటిది నాన్న? That is the one of the animal, right? So now such a type of transferring of the seed into the other area, the phenomenon is called as what ma? Zoochory. Important. What is the phenomenon? That is known as what? Zoochory. Important ma. Okay ra? Yeah, this is about what? One, flowers pollinated by flies and beetles. They secrete foul odor. Important. Next. And one more thing is what? To sustain animal visits. To sustain animal visits. To sustain animal visits, flowers provide what about ma? Rewards to the animals. Very, very important. To sustain animal visits, flowers provide rewards. Provide rewards to the what? Rewards to animals. Very, very important. See, all of you, very important thing is what? To sustain animal visits. Animals visit cheyali, flowers ni visit cheyalante compulsory what about ma? Flowers provide rewards to the animals. Okay, what are the floral rewards now? Okay na? The floral rewards are what? Idi question vastadi nana, careful. Floral rewards are what? What are the floral rewards now? Very, very important. Floral rewards are what? The floral rewards are, like, see all of you, first one is what? Nectar. First one is what ma? Nectar is the pollen reward. Second one is what? Pollen. Second one is what? Pollen. First thing is what? Nectar. Second one is what ma? Pollen. Second one is the pollen. Clear all of you? Nectar, pollen. Next one is one more important thing, that is what? Provide safe places. Provide safe places to lay what? Eggs. To lay what ma? Eggs. Important. Provide safe places to lay what? Eggs. What are the plants provide safe places to lay eggs? The best example is what? One is very, very important. Amorphophallus. Amorphophallus. ఎక్కడన్నా విన్నారా ఇది? Amorphophallus is the Jaminicand. Important ma. Jaminicand. ఇది మనకి calm example. That is one of the underground stem modification. Calm example. This Amorphophallus, that is what? Tallest flower ma. Tallest flower. They produce what? Tallest flower. ఇంత ముందు కన్నదేమో largest flower nana. This is what? Tallest flower. The flower itself, what is the height? The flower height is what? The flower height 6 feet. 6 feet height ma. Important. The flower height is 6 feet height. This flower provides what? Safe places to lay what ma? Eggs. Very, very important. Okay na? This is the one of the example. The second example is what? The second example is yucca. Second example is what? Yucca. Okay na? Yucca. Right ma? Yucca. So now yucca is the one of the plant. This plant show what? Symbiotic relationship of pollination. Symbiotic relationship of what ma? Pollination method. దేంతో పాలినేట్ అవుతుంది మరి? What is that symbiotic relationship of pollination? With the help of what? Moth. Very, 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 very important. What is the moth name now? The moth name is what? Yes, very, very important ma. Pronuba yuccacella. Or Tagitecula yuccacella. Right? Pronuba yuccacella or Tagitecula yuccacella. This is the one of the moth. Yes, ఏం చేస్తుంది మరి? What is the symbiotic relationship between yucca and moth? Yes, see all of you. This moth lay eggs in where ma? Moth lay eggs in the locules of what? The locules of ovary. Locules of ovary. Moth lay eggs in the locules of where? Ovary. Ovary locules, ovary లోపల locules ఉంటాయి, chambers. దాంట్లో ఏం రిలీజ్ చేస్తుంది? దే లే వాట్ మా? ఎగ్స్. దానివల్ల యూజ్ ఏంటి యుక్కా ప్లాంట్? వాట్ ఈస్ ద యూజ్? రైట్, సింపుల్. మాత్ లే ఎగ్స్ ఇన్ లాక్యూల్స్ ఆఫ్ ఓవరీ. ఇన్ టర్న్ ఫ్లవర్ get pollinated. Flower get pollinated by what? Flower get pollinated by what about ma? Moth. Most important. Flower get pollinated by what? Moth. Next, one more thing is what? Yes ma, both yucca plant and moth, they show what? A symbiotic relationship. That means depend upon each other without can, means they cannot complete their life cycle without each other. Very important. Okay na? Yes, yucca plant and moth. Yucca plant and moth. Yucca plant, moth. Both are depend upon each other. Means cannot complete life cycle. Cannot complete their life cycle without each other. Their life cycle without each other. Important. Without each other. ఒకటి లేకపోయినా ఇంకోటి లేకపోయినా, that is what? They cannot complete their life cycle. Important ma. That's why both they show which type of pollination? Symbiotic relationship of pollination. Most important. Symbiotic relationship. That means larva of moth come out from the egg. The seed start developing takes place. Very important. ఏంటంటున్నాడు నా? Larvae of moth. Larvae of moth come out from egg. What about ma? Then seed start developing takes place. Seed starts developing takes place. అంటే ఇక్కడ ఏంటి నానా? డెవలపింగ్ టేక్స్ ప్లేస్ మీన్స్ ఒకవేళ ఇఫ్ ఎగ్ నుండి గనక లార్వా బయటికి రాకపోతే వాట్ హ్యాపెన్స్? సీడ్ డెవలపింగ్ డస్ నాట్ టేక్స్ ప్లేస్. లార్వా ఆఫ్ మాత్ కమ్ అవుట్ ఫ్రమ్ ద ఎగ్, సీడ్ స్టార్ట్ డెవలపింగ్ టేక్స్ ప్లేస్. ఒకవేళ ఇఫ్ లార్వా ఆఫ్ మాత్ కెనాట్ కమ్ అవుట్ ఫ్రమ్ ద ఎగ్, there is no start developing of the seed start. Means what? Seed start developing takes place, does not takes place. That is important. So that's why both they show which type of relationship now? The relationship is called what? Symbiotic relationship. Very important. Okay na? Yeah, this is the one of the what? Symbiotic relationship of the pollination. So now what are the floral rewards ma now? The floral rewards are what? One is nectar. Then second one is what ma? The second one is that is what? Pollen. Third one is what? That provides what? Safe places to lay eggs. What are the plants they provide safe places to lay eggs? One is Amorphophallus is there ma. The second one is what? The second one is what ma? The second one is yucca plant. That show what? Symbiotic relationship with what? Moth. Okay. Moth name మనకి NCERT టెక్స్ట్ బుక్ లో లేదు, బట్ దట్ ఈస్ ఇంపార్టెంట్ మా. కాన్సన్ట్రేట్ దట్. Pronuba yuccacella or Tagitecula yuccacella. You know Yucca gloriosa, that is a family of what? Liliaceae monocot family. Okay na? This moth lay eggs in the locules of ovary. Careful ma, this line is important. Lacules of ovary. In turn, what happens, ma? Flower can pollinate and takes place. Flower can pollinated by the moth. Okay. Yucca plant and moth cannot complete their life cycle without each other. Okay, na? So that's why here what? Larvae of moth come out from the egg, then the seeds start developing takes place. This is the one of the very very important relationship exhibit between what yucca plant and one of the moth name is Pronuba yuccacella. Pronuba yuccacella, right ma? So now in all the insect pollinated flowers, like majority of the plants are which type of plants? They show insect pollination. Ornamental plants. Ornamental plants. And ornamental plants show what about ma? That is one of the entomophily type of pollination takes place. Ornamental plants కొన్ని లిస్ట్ మనకి ఇక్కడ ఇవ్వడం జరిగిందినా. That is what? One of the lemon, lobia plant, eucalyptus, okay na. Then next one salvia, ficus, okay na. Banyan tree na, banyan, okay. Ficus. ఇక్కడ ఫైకస్ పైన ఒక క్వశ్చన్ వచ్చే అవకాశం ఉంది నేనా. దట్ ఈస్ ఇంపార్టెంట్. ఫైకస్. ఇన్ ఫైకస్ స్పీసీస్ there is a one special type of pollination mechanism is there. The special type of pollination mechanism is called what? Trapdoor mechanism. What is the mechanism? Trapdoor mechanism. Trapdoor mechanism is there ma. It's a most important line. Trapdoor mechanism. Trapdoor mechanism antunanu. Trapdoor mechanism, that is very very important. In ficus also one particular species means what? One insect that can help the pollination method. The species name is called what? Particular name Blastophaga is the insect. Blastophaga is the one of the insect ma. This Blastophaga, one of the insect that can pollination takes place in which type of plant ma? Ficus. But pollination mechanism is what? Trapdoor mechanism. Very 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 important ma. Because why here trapdoor mechanism is there? Due to the presence of one special type of inflorescence is there. The special type of inflorescence is called as what? Hypanthodium inflorescence ma. Which type of inflorescence? Hypanthodium inflorescence is there. Very 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 important. Okay na. Hypanthodium inflorescence like a fruit like inflorescence. Fruit like inflorescence. Hypanthodium inflorescence is called fruit like inflorescence ma. In that gall flowers are there ma. There are actually three types of flowers are there. Male flowers, female flowers. Then female sterile flowers are there. They are called gall flowers. In that gall flowers, this type of Blastophaga lay eggs nana. Okay. So when lay eggs, the flowers, ficus flowers in turn get pollination takes place with the help of what? Blastophaga. So that it is also one of the similar to what ma? Symbiotic relationship of what ma? Pollination. But in NCERT this is entire information is there. So this is also important. Just note down. Ficus show which type of pollination mechanism? Trapdoor mechanism. Yes, you know that in the first year chapter, that is what in morphology of flowering plants, one of the very very important family is there. The name is called what? Fabaceae. Fabaceae family. Okay na. Fabaceae family. This Fabaceae family show which type of pollination mechanism nana. That is the one of the very very important. The name is called what? Piston mechanism. What is the mechanism? Piston mechanism. They show what? Piston mechanism. Very 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 important. So this type of piston mechanism seen in which type of family members ma? That is what? Fabaceae member. We'll see in the chapter of morphology of flowering plants. Just you remember ఈ ఒక పదాన్ని గుర్తుపెట్టుకుంటే చాలనా. What is that? Fabaceae, they show which type of pollination? Piston mechanism is there ma. You know in orchids, I already told you na in the just before that, orchids show what type of mechanism? Pseudo copulation mechanism ra. Orchid opris plant is there ma. That is pseudo copulation mechanism. Ficus lo which type of mechanism? That is called what? Trapdoor mechanism. In that what? Fabaceae, which type of mechanism is there? What? That is what? Piston mechanism is there ma. Piston mechanism. Okay na. Yes, these are the very very important pollination mechanisms, right? Now coming to the next one, very very important. It's a beautiful. What is that ma? You know robbers, pollen robbers, nectar robbers. అంటే పోలెన్ ని కూడా దొంగతనం చేసే ఉన్నాయి అంటున్నాడు. పోలెన్ రాబర్స్ ఆర్ నెక్టార్ రాబర్స్. చూడండి ఎంత బ్యూటిఫుల్. పోలెన్ రాబర్స్, పోలెన్ రాబర్స్ ఆర్ ఆల్సో నోన్ యాజ్ నెక్టార్ రాబర్స్. నెక్టార్ రాబర్స్. కేర్ఫుల్ మా ఇక్కడ మెనీ స్పీసీస్, మెనీ ఇన్సెక్ట్ స్పీసీస్, మెనీ అక్కడ మెనీ అనేది మెన్షన్ చేశాడు నాన్న. మెనీ ఇన్సెక్ట్ స్పీసీస్ ఎందుకంటే ఇక్కడ కొన్ని క్వశ్చన్స్ మెనీ పైన, ఓకే రైట్, ఆఫెన్, సమ్, ఆల్, మెజారిటీ, ఓకేనా, లైక్ దట్ మా, దట్ ఈస్ క్వశ్చన్ ఏరియా. కేర్ఫుల్ ద లైన్స్. మెనీ ఇన్సెక్ట్ స్పీసీస్ that consume pollen or nectar, pollen or nectar without bringing about pollination. Very important. Without bringing about pollination. Without bringing about pollination. Without bringing about what? Pollination. Yeah, this is what pollen robbers and nectar robbers. ఇవి చాలా జాగ్రత్తగా ఇన్సెక్ట్ స్పీసీస్ అనేవి పెటల్ యొక్క బేస్ లో నెక్టార్ గ్లాండ్స్ ఆర్ దేర్ మా. ఆ నెక్టార్ గ్లాండ్స్ నుంచి నెక్టార్ ని గాని పోలెన్ ని గాని కన్జ్యూమ్ చేస్తాయి. బట్ without bringing about what? Pollination mechanism. Such a type of species are called what ma? Pollen robbers or nectar robbers. This is also there in NCERT ma. It's a very important. Okay, clear? Yeah, these are all are what? Biotic pollinating agents lo first type entomophily is completed. Then the second one, just only briefing nana, no need to detail information. That is what? Ornithophily. Ornithophily. Okay, ornithophily means what? Ornithophily. Ornithophily means, yes ma, pollination takes place by what? Birds. Pollination occurs through what? Pollination occurs through what about ma? Birds. Just now I already told to you what are the birds are involved ma. Pollination occurs through what? Birds nana. Birds ante ఏ birds అని చెప్పాను? That is what? Sunbirds. Then what? Hummingbirds, like sunbirds, hummingbirds. Okay na? Hummingbirds. Sunbirds, hummingbirds. Right ma? Such type of pollination is called what? Ornithophily. మరి ఇలాంటి ప్లాంట్స్ లో పాలినేషన్ జరగాలంటే ఫ్లవర్స్ ఎలా ఉండాలి? లైక్ ఏ చార్మింగ్ అండ్ ఆల్సో నెక్టార్ ఈస్ ప్రెసెంట్ ఎట్ బేస్ ఆఫ్ ద పెటల్ ఆర్ కొరల్లా మా. దట్ ఈస్ ద వన్ ఆఫ్ ద అడాప్టేషన్ ఇస్ దేర్ మా. సో రైట్ నౌ ద pollen means the type of birds are involved in pollination mechanism. Okay na? So the best example of ornithophily is what? Yes, example is what ma? That is Bignonia. Bignonia, not there in NCERT, but note down ma, important. Bignonia. Next to Utia. Utia monosperma antam, moduga. Bignonia, Utia. Then one more is what? Callistemon. Callistemon. Bottle brush antam nanadanni. Bottle brush plant antam. Bignonia, Butea, Callistemon. వీటిలో which type of pollination takes place? That is what? Ornithophily. Important. Next to Chiropterophily is what? Chiropterophily. Chiropterophily means what? Chiropterophily. Chiropterophily means pollination occurs through what? Pollination occurs through what about ma method? Pollination occurs through bats. Pollination occurs through what? Bats. Okay na? Bats. Pollination occurs through bats. మరి ఇలాంటి వాటిలో ప్లాంట్స్ లో ఫ్లవర్స్ ఎలా ఉంటాయి? ఫ్లవర్స్ ఆర్ డల్ ఇన్ కలర్. ఎందుకంటే బ్యాట్స్ ఓన్లీ నైట్ టైం మాత్రమే అవి మూవ్ అవుతూ ఉంటాయి. అలాంటప్పుడు వాటికి అట్రాక్టివ్ కలర్ అవసరం లేదు ఫ్లవర్స్ కి. సో డల్ ఇన్ కలర్ బట్ బిగ్ సైజ్ ఫ్లవర్స్ ఆర్ రిక్వైర్డ్. బిగ్ సైజ్ ఫ్లవర్. So such type of pollination is called what ma? Chiropterophily is very very important. What about example of chiropterophily now? That is what? Adansonia. Adansonia. Kadamba antam. Next one is what? Tygelia. Tygelia. Tygelia pinnata. Adansonia. Tygelia pinnata. Like these are what ma? Chiropterophily example. Chiropterophily. Okay na? Through the bats. So inkoti kuda cheppochu bats dwara manaki, that is what? Banana. Banana flower also can pollination takes place with the help of what? Bats ma? Banana flowers. Okay, right? Yeah, this is about what? Chiropterophily information. Now little bit information that is about what? Malacophily. Malacophily. Malacophily means what? Malacophily means pollination occurs through what? That is snails ma. Pollination occurs through what about snails? Nattala dwara kuda jarugutundi annadu. Pollination occurs through the snails. Example is what ra? That is lemna plant okati. Lemna. And one more arisema. Arisema. Arisema also. That is also involved ma. Yes, malacophily this is. And one more is what? Ophiophily. What about Ophiophily now? Ophiophily. Ophiophily means what? Ophiophily means pollination occurs through what? Snakes. ఇంత ముందుకేమో snails అన్నాను, ఇప్పుడు ఏమంటున్నాను? snakes. Snakes ద్వారా జరగడం Ophiophily. Pollination occurs through snails. Example ఏంటి నాన్న? You know the parasitic plant, one is what? Santalum. Santalum. Then one is what? Micaelia also. Micaelia. Santalum, Micaelia. These are what? Such type of plants are pollination takes place with the help of what? Snakes. Important. Malacophily, snails. Ophiophily, snakes. Chiropterophily, that is what? Bats. Then ornithophily, that is what? Birds. Then what about ma? Insects, that is called what? Entomophily. Entomophily. Okay. All these are what? Biotic pollinating agents. Okay na? Yeah, this is the completed ma. Biotic pollinating agents are completed right now. Coming to the next one, pollen pistil interaction is what? What about pollen pistil interaction? Pollen pistil interaction. Pollen pistil interaction. What about pollen pistil interaction? కొంచెం కేర్ఫుల్ గా వినాలి ఇక్కడ. This is important. Pollen pistil interaction means what? What about pollen pistil interaction? Yes, pollination does not guarantee the transfer of what? Right type of pollen. Very very important line is their first statement, that is ncert. Pollination does not guarantee the transfer of what? Does not guarantee the transfer of what? Guarantee the transfer of what ma? Transfer of right type of pollen. Right type of pollen. Right type of pollen. Very very important. But right type of pollen is what? That is known as compatible pollen. The right type of pollen is called what ma? Compatible pollen. Compatible pollen. Compatible pollen. Compatible pollen. Okay na? That means what ra? That means what ma? Often wrong type of pollen also. Often wrong type of pollen. Wrong type of pollen is what? That is come from That is what? Different species. That is come from where ma? Different species are same plant, come from same plant, but that is what? Self incompatibility. Self incompatibility అంటే అదే plant లో ఉన్న pollen grain that is not involved in pollination mechanism. Okay, దాన్ని సెల్ఫ్ ఇంకంపాటబిలిటీ అంట. ఓకేనా? సో అది డిఫరెంట్ స్పీసీస్ అవ్వచ్చు, బట్ సేమ్ స్పీసీస్ సేమ్ ప్లాంట్, బట్ దట్ ఈస్ వాట్ మా? సెల్ఫ్ ఇంకంపాటబుల్ పోలెన్ గ్రెయిన్. The type of pollen grain is what? Wrong type of pollen also land onto the stigma. Land onto the stigma. Land onto the stigma. అంటే ఇప్పుడు ఇక్కడ ఏం జరుగుతుంది నాన్న? Right type of pollen also land onto the stigma. Wrong type of pollen also land onto the stigma. That's why here what? Pollination is does not guarantee the transfer of what? Right type of pollen land onto the stigma. Okay na? But how to recognize, sir? Which one is the right type? Which one is the wrong type of pollen grain? How to recognize a flower? So it's a very very important ma. That is what? Pistil has the ability. Most important ma. Pistil has the ability. Pistil has the ability to recognize what? Ability to recognize what about ma? Right type of pollen. Right type of pollen. To recognize what? Right type of pollen. Very very important. Which one has the ability, nana? That is what? Pistil has the ability to recognize what? Right type of pollen. When recognize the right type of pollen, then pistil promotes what? Then pistil promotes post-pollination events. Post-pollination events. We'll see what are the post-pollination events are there in a flower. We'll see little later. That is there important. When wrong type of pollen is there ma. When wrong type of pollen. When wrong type of pollen. When wrong type of pollen land onto the stigma. Land onto the stigma. Land onto the stigma. What happens now? Then now what about very very important? The pistil rejects the pollen. The pistil reject the pollen. Reject the pollen ma. Reject the pollen by preventing what? By preventing pollen grain germination. By preventing pollen grain germination. Pollen grain germination or pollen tube growth. Pollen grain germination or pollen tube growth in the stigma. Pollen tube growth in the stigma. Growth in the stigma. In the stigma. Okay, right? Yeah, this is very very important. Pistil has the ability to recognize right type of pollen. When has the recognize the right type of pollen, pistil promotes what? Post-pollination events takes place ma. Okay na? Then when pistil recognize the wrong type of pollen, what happens ma? When land onto the stigma, the pistil rejects the pollen by preventing pollen grain germination or pollen tube growth in the stigma area. Very very important. That's why here very important thing is what? Pollen pistil interaction is what? It's a chemical mediated process ma. What is that process? That is what? A chemical mediated process. Okay na? So that what is the chemical mediated process? Acceptance or rejection. Acceptance and rejection of pollen grain This this type of event is what chemical mediated process. So such type of chemical mediated process between what? Between the what very very important, that is stigma and pollen grain. Stigma and pollen grain. Pollen grain లో stigma ఈ రెండిటి మధ్య ఉన్న కెమికల్ దట్ ఈస్ కెమికల్ మీడియేటెడ్ ప్రాసెస్ ఆ కెమికల్ వల్ల ఏమవుతుంది? యాక్సెప్టెన్స్ ఆర్ రిజెక్షన్. ఓకేనా? సో దిస్ ఈస్ వెరీ వెరీ ఇంపార్టెంట్ మెకానిజం. దిస్ pollen pistil mechanism is a dynamic process. Very very important The pollen pistil mechanism is which type of process? That is, it's a dynamic process. It is a dynamic process anna. Dynamic process. How that is? See, all of you. When the pistil recognize one compatible pollen, now which undergo what? Post pollination events takes place. So what are the post pollination events in a flower now? See now. Post pollination events are what? Post pollination events in a flower. What are the post pollination events in a flower? Very very important Careful all of you. Post pollination events are what? So now see, that is, first of all, pollen grain germinate on the stigma. Pollen grain germinates. Pollen grain germinates on the stigma. And produce what about pollen tube? And produce what? Pollen tube, which is come out from any one of the germpore. I already told to you, Nana. Any one of the germpore. Germpores are what? That is exine apertures That is what? Where the sporopollen is absent. The areas are called what? Germpores. Through which the germpores, the pollen grain means what? Intine, that produce a long tube-like structure, that is called what? Pollen tube. Very very important. Through which what about through one of the germpore, this pollen tube is means produced, right? Very very important. This is one of the post pollination event. Clear? Now coming to the next one, the content of the pollen grain. Content of pollen grain moves into the where pollen tube. Moves into the where pollen tube. Very important. ఎప్పుడైతే pollen tube ఫామ్ అవుతుందో, pollen grain లో ఉన్న కంటెంట్ మొత్తం దేంట్లోకి ఎంటర్ అవుతుంది నాన్న? దట్ ఈస్ ఎంటర్ టు ద వేర్? pollen tube. Important pollen tube, right? Now coming to the next one, if pollen grain released at two-celled stage, if pollen grain released at two-celled stage, నేను ఆల్రెడీ మీకు చెప్పాను నాన్న, two-celled stage over 60% of angiospermic species, they released at two-celled stage. The pollen grain released at two-celled stage in condition. If the pollen grain released at two-celled stage, then generative cell undergo mitotic division. Undergo mitotic division to produce two male gametes. ఇదంతా ఎప్పుడు జరుగుతుందన్నా? during the growth of pollen tube in the stigma. Growth of pollen tube in the stigma. Pollen tube in the stigma. This is very, 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 very important. Okay, now, if the pollen grain released at a two-celled stage means, like you know, this is what pollen grain. Yes, ma, this is continuous thin layer, outer inner layer is called intine. Yeah, this one is what? Plasma membrane. Okay, inside that there is a what? Outside exine layer is there, ma, outside. This is called what? Exine layer. This one is the exine layer, right? Its prominent apertures are there now. Now inside here what? There is a two cells are there. Irregularly shaped nucleus is present in one cell. This is called what? VC or that means what? Vegetative cell. Now this one is what? Prominent nucleus in cytoplasm. This cell is called what? GC. The name is called generative cell. Generative cell and vegetative cell both are there, ma. Now this stage is called what? Two-celled stage condition. Okay, na? So this condition. So this is what? Two-celled stage, ma. One is VC and second one is GC. Over 60% of angiosperms that is released at what? Two-celled stage. So during the growth of what? Pollen tube in the stigma. Very, 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 very important. If now see all of you, if a pollen grain released at three-celled stage, if pollen grain released at a three-celled stage, that means what? Pollen tube carry male gametes. Pollen tube carry male gametes from the beginning. Beginning నుంచే ఏమవుతుంది? Pollen tube లో male gametes అనేవి ఉంటాయి. Two male gametes. If pollen grain released at three-celled stage, that pollen tube carry two male gametes from the beginning. How many male gametes, ma? Two male gametes. Okay, right. Now see all of you. After that, this pollen tube grows through the tissue of what? Stigma, style and reach to the verma ovule. This is very, very important. But when a pollen tube grows through the tissue of stigma, style and reach to the ovule. But entry of pollen tube into the ovule by three ways. Entry of pollen tube into the ovule by how many methods? Three methods, ma. How many methods, mama? Three methods. Important, nana. See all of you. Entry of pollen tube into the ovule by how many methods, nana? Three methods. So what are the three methods are there now? The first method is what? Porogamy. First method is called what? Porogamy. The second method is what? Chalazogamy. Second method is chalazogamy. The third method is what? Mesogamy. Important. Okay, total three methods, ma. One is porogamy, second one chalazogamy, third one is what? Mesogamy. So we'll see now what about porogamy, chalazogamy and mesogamy now. See all of you, this is what ovule diagram. You know ovule diagram, I already told you in the second video. This is the ovule ma, right? Inside the ovule, there is a single embryo sac is present. This is what embryo sac ma. A single embryo sac is present, like this is the embryo sac. You know inside the embryo sac, these are what? Egg apparatus. These two are what? Polar nuclei. These three are what? Antipodal cells. Entry of pollen tube into the ovule through. This is the area is what ma? Micropyle ma. Very important. Micropyle. Where the integuments are not covered the ovule, the place is called what? Micropyle ma. So this is the pollen tube. Pollen tube. Then this type of pollen tube enter into the ovule through what is the mechanism? That is what? Micropyle way ma. This is called what? Porogamy. It is a very very important, most common type. This type of porogamy is most common type. Most common ma. Very very important. Now coming to the next one, chalazogamy means what? Again this is what? Ovule diagram ma. These are the integuments, but except at the tip of the ovule there is a what? Apical opening is there. That is known as what? This is embryo sac. Inside these are what? Cells are there like this. Now entry of pollen tube into the ovule. What is the mechanism? That is what? Through the chalaza. This is the pollen tube. Through the chalaza. Right? Next, very very important, chalaza. Example is what? Casuarina. Casuarina. This is discovered by Uma Trube scientist, one of the scientists. Next, mesogamy means what? Here mesogamy means again these are what? Ovules ma. Ovule that is covered by what? Integuments. Like this is the ovule structure, right? Inside there is a embryo sac is there, like this is embryo sac. These are antipodal cells, okay? Then entry of pollen tube into the ovule. What is the mechanism? That is what? Through the integuments or through the funicle. Through the integuments. These are what? Integuments, right? Integuments. Now these are what ma? This layer is this portion is what? Funicle. So the entry of pollen tube into the ovule through integuments or funicle, that is called what? Mesogamy. Entry of pollen tube into the ovule through chalaza. This portion is called, what is the portion? Chalaza. That is called as what? Chalazogamy. Perlone undi nana. Chalaza nindi pollen tube enter avutundi. Ikkada integuments or funicle nundi pollen tube enter avadam. Here pollen tube enter into the ovule through micropylar region only, right? Yeah, these three types of method. Example in mesogamy example is what? Cucurbita. Mesogamy example is cucurbita. Now the entry of pollen tube into the ovule by how many methods? Nana? Three methods are there. So what are the three methods? The first one is what? Porogamy. The second one is what? Chalazogamy. The third one is what ma? Mesogamy method. So the porogamy means the entry of pollen tube into the ovule. What is the method? The entry of pollen tube into the ovule, that is what? Through the micropylar region, that is called what? A simple porogamy. Then entry of pollen tube into the chalazal region, that is called as what? Chalazogamy. The entry of pollen tube into the ovule through integuments or what ma? Funicle, that is known as what ma? Mesogamy. That is known as what? Mesogamy. Yeah, this is the one of the way entry of pollen tube into the ovule. See, all of you, in all these three methods, always the pollen tube enters into the ovule through only micropylar region ma. చూడండి ఒకసారి ఇక్కడ నుంచి మైక్రోపైలారే, తెలాజా నుంచి వచ్చినా కూడా మైక్రోపైలార్ ద్వారానే మూవ్ అవుతుంది. ఇంటెగ్యుమెంట్స్ ఆర్ ఫ్యూనిక్యులర్ ద్వారా వచ్చినా కూడా త్రూ ది మైక్రోపైలార్ రీజియన్. వెరీ 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 ఇంపార్టెంట్. Because why? We'll see now. That is what pollen tube reach to the ovule. When reach to the ovule and enter to the embryo sac. Enter to embryo sac. How ma? When pollen tube after reach the ovule, inside the ovule there is a embryo sac is there. But that type of pollen tube enters into the embryo sac. How? That is by very very important method is there ma. So in recent studies, the scientists are recognize that what? See, very important thing, the pollen tube enters into the embryo sac, that is from where ma? Always from where ma? Micropylar tip. This is very 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 important. Okay, micropylar tip. Why nana? Always pollen tube enters into the embryo sac from micropylar tip area only. Because of why? Micropylar tip side that contains what ma? Micropylar side that contains what? One of the egg apparatus is present. Egg apparatus. This egg apparatus consists of what? Two synergids are there na. How many synergids ma? Two synergids are present. And one female gamete is present. One female gamete. But see, you know that synergids, like this is the diagram ma. This is what? Embryo sac diagram, like embryo sac diagram. Like this is the embryo sac, right? Okay na? So now see the embryo sac, like for example, this portion is, what is the portion? Micropylar region portion, right? Now in the micropylar region portion, see all of you, in this area, this is what? Egg cell. Imagine. This is what ma? Synergid cell right now. This is what? Synergid. Yeah, this is called what? Synergid. Yeah, this one is, imagine, this one is what ma? Egg cell. Okay na? One more synergid also present, but only the pollen tube enters into the embryo sac. One of the synergid only one of the synergid, that is degeneration takes place to enters what about ma? Pollen tube. See all of you, the pollen tube entry into the embryo sac through one of the what? Synergid, right? This is what? Pollen tube, right? Okay na? But whys are here? Pollen tube enters into the synergids of embryo sac. Because the reason is what? The reason is what ma? The synergids have what ra? A finger-like projections are there. The finger-like projections are called as what ma? Filiform apparatus. What is the name? Filiform apparatus. Yes, this filiform apparatus secretes what? Filiform apparatus secretes some chemicals. Very very important. Okay na? That's why the pollen tube, yes ma, attract to these chemicals ma. These chemicals that is secreted by way, which one? Filiform apparatus. So this type of movement is called what? Growth of the pollen tube is called what? Chemotropic movement. What is the growth, ma? Chemotropic movement of the growth they show, right? So that's why this filiform apparatus main function is what? Guiding the pollen tube into the embryo sac. Guiding the pollen tube. Guiding the pollen tube into the embryo sac. Into the embryo sac. This is a story. So why here always pollen tube enters into the embryo sac through what about micropylar region? Because at micropylar region, what about ma? There is a one ego apparatus is present. A ego apparatus consists of what? Two synergids, one female gamete is present. But synergids lo emuntai, they have what? A finger like projections are there. The name is called what? Filiform apparatus. This filiform apparatus main function is what? Secrete some chemicals. Chemicals unnai kabatti pollen tube emautundi attract to such type of chemicals towards that. Such type of growth is called what? Chemotropic growth. So now that's why pollen tube enters into the one of the synergid. Very, 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 very important. So I already told you now, this is what? Pollen grain. Intine produce a pollen tube. Yes ma. This one is what ra? Outer exine layer. This is what ma? Plasma membrane. Inside here how many male gametes are there? Two male gametes. One vegetative nucleus is there. So that's why here what? One male gamete, here one more male gamete. Now these two male gametes are released into the cytoplasm of synergids. Very, 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 very important. How ma? After bursting of tip of the pollen tube, then they release what? Two male gametes. Where ma? These two male gametes are released into released into cytoplasm of synergid. Cytoplasm of what? Synergids. Very, 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 very important. Okay, now. So now, first pollen grain deposition on the stigma, then pollen tube growth in the style, stigma, style, and reach to the ovule, and finally reach to the verma, embryo sac. All these are constitute as what? Pollen pistil interaction. What is that name? Pollen pistil interaction means that is what? Pollen grain germination onto the stigma, then pollen tube enters into the ovule. All these are aspects are constitute as what? Pollen pistil interaction anta. Finally, pollen tube reaches into the embryo sac through any one of the degenerated synergidma. Now the tip of the pollen tube is burst out. Now what happens? The two male gametes are released into the cytoplasm of what? That is synergids. Okay. Yeah, this is all are about that is what? Pollen pistil interaction area. Okay na? Yes ma. Now coming to the next, before the double fertilization, there is a what? Pollen grain germination. In vitro pollen grain germination is what? What about in vitro pollen grain germination now? See now. In vitro pollen grain germination, there is a small concepts, two are there ma. In vitro pollen grain germination. In vitro pollen grain germination. This is there in NCERT, important, all of you concentrate. In vitro pollen grain germination. See all of you. First of all, what about ma? That is collection of pollen grain from what are the plants? Collection of pollen grains. Collection of pollen grains from where? Collection of pollen grains. Collection of pollen grains from what are the plants now? That is from what ma? Very important. Yes ra, here chickpea, pea plant, Crotalaria, balsam, vinca, pea, chickpea, Crotalaria, balsam, vinca plants. ఇక్కడ నుంచి ఏం కలెక్ట్ చేస్తాం మనం? కలెక్షన్ ఆఫ్ వాట్ మా pollen grains, right? Now the pollen grains are dusting of pollen grains, onto where ma? Dusting of pollen grains on a quadra glass slide. ఆ pollen grains ఎక్కడ మనం ప్లేస్ చేయాలి మనం? On a glass side. That glass side contains what? Glass side contains a drop of 10% sugar solution. A drop of 10% sugar solution, 10% sugar solution and boric acid, then calcium, magnesium, potassium salts also. Calcium, magnesium and potassium salts. After that what happens ma? That incubate after how much period ra? 15 to 30 minutes. 15 to 30 minutes incubation takes place. Finally what happens ma? You observe that what? Pollen tubes come out from what? Pollen grain. Pollen tubes come out from pollen grain. Okay na? Now all these entire process takes place within where ma? Within the laboratory. So now that is called what? Hang drop method అని అంటాం నాన్న. What is that method? Hang drop method. Very 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 important. Hang drop method anta. This type of method is called what? Hang drop method. Most important. This is in vitro pollen grain germination. Collection of pollen grains from where? Pea plant, chickpea plant, Crotalaria, balsam, vinca plant ma. ఇక్కడ నుంచి మనం ఏం కలెక్ట్ చేయాలి? పోలెన్ గ్రెయిన్స్. కలెక్ట్ చేసిన పోలెన్ గ్రెయిన్స్ ఎక్కడ ప్లేస్ చేస్తున్నాము? డస్టింగ్ ఆఫ్ పోలెన్ గ్రెయిన్స్ ఆన్ టు ఏ వాట్? గ్లాస్ సైడ్. ఆ గ్లాస్ సైడ్ పైన ఏముంది? డ్రాప్ ఆఫ్ 10% sugar solution is there, and also what? Boric acid, then also what? Calcium, then magnesium, potassium salts are present. So with the help of boron also, very 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 important. Boric acid means boron. You know that in the mineral nutrition chapter, boron helps in what? Pollen grain germination. So after 15 to 30 minutes after incubation, what happens ma? All that type of pollen grains that produce a small tube like structures are there. They are called as what? Pollen tubes, which are come out from where ma? Pollen grains ra. This type of method is completely takes place within where ma? Laboratory condition. This is called what? Hang drop method. What is the method? Hang drop method. This is the one of the concept in vitro pollen grain germination. In vitro annanu kada, inside the laboratory, that is what? In test tube condition. Next, one more small concept that is there ma? Artificial hybridization. What about artificial hybridization? Artificial hybridization method. Artificial hybridization. See now, artificial hybridization is what? It's a very very important crop improvement program. It is the one of the crop improvement program. Crop improvement program nana. Very very important. Crop improvement program is what? Artificial hybridization method. See in which method is what? In which what happens ma? made cross between what? Between two different varieties are species or genera. Different varieties, species or genera. Important. Different varieties, species or genera. When made cross between two different varieties, species or genera, what is the result? To combine desirable characters in a where one of the superior plant, means superiority. So to combine a desirable character, now that leads to form what? A superior plant. This is what artificial hybridization method. Sudhamari, made cross between the two different varieties or species or genera. What are the steps are there in the artificial hybridization methods? This is also there in NCERT. Nana. Careful. The first step is what? Collection of parents, suitable parents. Collection of suitable parents. This is the first step. Collection of suitable parents. Second one is what? Second one, emasculation. Third one is what? Bagging. Fourth one is what? Artificial pollination. Then the fifth one is what? Rebagging. Rebagging. Important. Okay, now these are the 5 steps are there in the artificial hybridization method. When these type 5 methods are there? If see all of you, collection of suitable parents anan. That collection of suitable parents means one is what? Male and another one is what? Female. So here see all of you, very very important thing is what in the artificial hybridization. In artificial hybridization only use what? Desired pollen grains are used for what? Artificial hybridization. Desired pollen grains are used only, right? Desired pollen grains. అవి ఎక్కడి నుంచి వస్తాయి మరి desired pollen grains? That is from where? Male plant. So from this area you choose what? Desired pollen grains. Important. Desired pollen grains are there. Now coming to the next one, this is what? Female plant. If the female plant bears, if the female plant bears bisexual flowers అన్నాడు. అంటే ఏంటి నాన్న? Androecium and gynoecium. Okay na? If the female flowers are have what? Bisexual flower. So now which undergo compulsory, what is the method emasculation takes place. Because why? Bisexual lo male is there and female is there. Manak no need to require of what? Male plant. Because of already male plant manam select cheskunnam. From that area desired pollen grains are collected. Okay na? So kabatti ikkada if female plant bears what? Bisexual flowers that have undergo what is that mechanism? Emasculation process is done. What is the meaning of emasculation now? That means what? Removal of anther. Removal of what anther when flower in bud condition. Eppudu cheyali idi? When flower in bud condition. When flower in bud condition means what? Before anther dehiscence. Condition. Before anther dehiscence. మరి ఎలా చేస్తాను అన్న? విత్ ద హెల్ప్ ఆఫ్ వాట్? వెరీ వెరీ ఇంపార్టెంట్. విత్ ద హెల్ప్ ఆఫ్ వాట్ రా? పెయిర్ ఆఫ్ ఫోర్సెప్స్. పెయిర్ ఆఫ్ వాట్ రా? ఫోర్సెప్స్. పెయిర్ ఆఫ్ ఫోర్సెప్స్ ని యూజ్ చేస్తా. pair of forceps. Now what happens? So the removal of what? Anthers takes place. This technique is called as what? Emasculation. Very, very important. After the next step is what ma? Bagging. Why here requirement? Bagging is what? Manaka female flower, if that is bisexual, that means what? Remove what? Anther, okay, right now. But if the flower is opened, అప్పుడు ఏమే అవకాశం ఉంది? Unwanted pollen grains are also land onto the stigma. That is the condition. మనకు కావాల్సింది ఏంది నాన్న? Only desired pollen grains are land onto the stigma. So that's why before maturation of the stigma, such type of emasculated flower is completely what ma? Bagged with suitable size of butter paper. Suitable size of what ra? Suitable size of what is that? Butter paper. Butter paper. Now that is called as what ra? Bagging. So bagging prevents what? Unwanted pollination. Very, 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 very important. Okay na? So right now after that next one is what? Next step is artificial pollination. How that is done? See, simple all of you. When stigma attains the maturity, what happens now? Now the flowers already bagging takes place. Such flowers attain the maturity, means stigma attains the maturity. Now collected pollen grains, means desired pollen grains, dusted onto the stigma. Dusted onto the stigma. Such type of pollination is called as what? Artificial pollination. Again what happens ma? Rebagging. Why nana? So inka manam emaina unwanted pollen grains are fall onto the stigma. In that condition, that is the prevention purpose. Here also what? Again such type of artificial pollinated flower also. Again what about ma? Covered with suitable size of the butter paper. That is called what ra? Rebagging technique. So now total how many steps are there ma? There are the 5 steps. One is collection of suitable parent. Second one is emasculation. Third one is bagging. Fourth one is artificial pollination. Fifth one is what? Rebagging. This is very, very, very important. If all these 5 steps, when it is takes place ra? If the flower is bisexual. Nana. If the flower is unisexual, yes, very, very important. There is no need of what? Emasculation process. Most important line ma. That is what? If flower is unisexual, then what happens nana? No need of emasculation. No need of what ma? Emasculation step. Directly we go with what? Collection of suitable parents, male and female. Then followed by what? Bagging. Followed by what? Artificial pollination. Followed by what? Rebagging steps. Yes, all these are what? Artificial hybridization steps ma. Okay na? If the flower is bisexual, 5 steps are there. If the flower is unisexual, that is what ra? Very, very important. There are only 4 steps are there. No need to requirement of what? Emasculation process. What is that process? Emasculation process. Okay, right ma. These are the artificial hybridization steps ma. Finally, after completion of the artificial pollination, then allowed to formation of fruit, then finally formation of what? Formation is there. Okay. Yeah, this is all are about artificial hybridization techniques. There are total 5 steps are there. Collection of suitable parents, emasculation, bagging, artificial pollination, rebagging techniques are there. Okay, right? If unisexual flower is there, there is only 4 steps. Collection of suitable parents, bagging, artificial pollination, rebagging only takes place. This is very, very important. That is one of the crop improvement program is what? Artificial hybridization. Finally, pollen tube reach to the embryo sac, one of the synergids, through the one of the synergids. Now they release what? 2 male gametes into where? Cytoplasm of the synergids. Now these 2 male gametes how to brought means what, how to involve fertilization process with the female gamete and polar nuclei. The process is called what? Double fertilization. That is a beautiful mechanism. Is what ma? Double fertilization. We'll see in the next session. That is what? Double fertilization. Followed by what? After fertilization. What about development? Post fertilization changes. That is endosperm development, embryo development. Then furtherly, what about ma? Seed formation. How to that? That is a very very important session is going to the next. Okay na? Thank you all of you.